Hello guys, my name is Larissa and I'm going to be telling you about given circumstances today. So I broke up given circumstances into 5 different sections. So the first step that I like to do is to look at any clues in the play and make a note of them. So this could be the setting of the play, the costumes that they wear, historical clues. Definitely look in the beginning of the play and the end of the play. Some of them will give you a list of costumes that they wear, which could tell you more about the time period. Or in the beginning, it kind of says something about what house they're in, the set, and how it's all set out. That could definitely give you some clues. So definitely write down anything like that. Historical clues could be something around the lines of they are talking about electricity and how it's new and exciting, so that could definitely tell you what time the play is set in as well. And also another thing to look into when you're reading your play, if it's raining outside or is it warm or cold, is there costumes, does it have coats in it, anything like that, it could give you a sense of the climate. So definitely keep that in mind. And then another thing to think about is what does the playwright expect you to know about this? Any passages or essays written before the play happens, so usually it's a foreword or a preface or anything like that, but definitely look into those and see if there's any clues that the author may give you or the playwright may give you. So take a look at those, write any clues down, and then you are ready for step number 2. So step number 2 I like to call draw conclusions. So if it's snowing, what months does it usually snow in? If they have a garden with plants, write those plants down, and then you can figure out when those plants are most popular, when do they bloom. Another thing is if a character is waking up or coming home from work, going to the store, something along those lines, it definitely tells you what kind of time it is. So is it beginning of the day, end of the day? And then it also gives you a sense of how long the play goes for. So what day does the play start on and when does the play end? So look at those times as well. So step 3 is doing your research. Definitely take the time out to do this. It comes very, very, very handy if you do take the time out to look at all the clues that the play may have given you. So don't assume that the place that they live in is going to be fancy. If it is in a Victorian house, then it should be Victorian time in the time period. So it's not going to be a New York style in a Montana setting. So definitely make sure that you look at the time period, the location that it used to be in, all of that fun stuff. I know that there is quite a bit of sites on Google that you can look up. If you type in the place like Long Island, it'll come with the climate that Long Island is, what it was like in the 1900s, how much everything cost, anything like that. So definitely use Google to your best ability and get as much information as you can, because too much, no such thing. So no worries with that. Just write down as much information as you can and then use what you need. Also, visual aids. Visual aids are a wonderful tool to use, and it also helps you understand what is happening in that time area, how they're getting around, what their cars looked like, what they wore. So definitely look for any pictures that may help you as well. So step 4, I just like to call it real and make sense. So basically what I mean is you don't want to have rich characters, Victorian characters, live in the slums of modern day New York City. It's obvious, I know, but sometimes it comes across incorrectly. So you just want to be aware of that. You also don't want to make something super realistic when it's supposed to be in a fantasy world or vice versa. So just keep that in mind when you're looking for information, and then it should help you get to where you want to be. So the final step, I just like to call harder circumstances and goals. So there will be quite a bit of circumstances that may seem a little bit easy, but the harder ones are probably going to be religion or political views, morals, beliefs. These are ones that hopefully you'll get information from the play, and then you'll have to draw your own conclusions with that later. So definitely look into maybe what the character says about other people. So if they feel uncomfortable with a black maid, what morals do they stand by? Or anything that may pop out when you're reading that's like that. I always thought about if your character grew up in a certain state, in a certain time, who would have voted for what president? And then from there, I kind of went along with religion and what state had the highest whatever religion percentage, and then I just basically chose the highest percentage because more than likely they would be that unless the play says otherwise. And then the other part of this one is the goals, and it's basically everything that we have been talking about in the Directing One class anyway. So what is your character trying to achieve, and what are these things that the character wants, and how do they want to get there, and what is in their way? So always think about that, but also make sure that you tie in their obstacles and what they want into their given circumstances. So it's kind of like step 4. You want to make sense of it. You don't want it to be all jumbled. All right, guys, so just a quick overview of what we went over. Given circumstances, just look at any clues in the play and take note of them. Draw some conclusions, and then do some research. Definitely a lot of time spent on research, but it'll help you get to where you want to be. Make sure that your given circumstances are real and that they make sense. And yes, the harder ones may be a little bit harder to find and come up with, but they will definitely make your character richer in the end. Thank you.